Hello and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Gilbert, and joining me tonight is my co-host, Joel Meyer. How are we doing out there in Vancouver, Joel? You in like Antarctica or something with the hoodie on in August?
Feels like that. I mean, we had a nice spell going on, July, August, just hot all the time. No rain for once in this crummy city, but the rain has come. It's decided to show up on August 20th, August 21st. It's it's a bit chilly, but we march on. We're looking forward to it. I don't like the heat anyway, so I'm welcoming the cold. It's been a interesting couple weeks, kind of boring, but especially after the Olympics, after that the major sweat we had with Spain. But the summer of Spain rolls on with the Spanish woman winning in the water polo, getting the gold medal there. That was huge to get over 4.5 gold medals for the Spanish. That was very nice. A bunch of stuff since then's going on. Yannick Sinner, my guy, apparently has been doping the whole year, but we're still betting him to win the U.S. Open, of course. But yeah, I got a funny story actually. So typically, I used to get like blackout drunk all the time, and I would lose my phone constantly. So I would only buy like these $150, $200 phones because it's pointless. They only last like a few months anyway. So why spend all this money on an expensive phone? So okay, I don't drink like that anymore. Before the Germany trip, I figured, okay, I'll treat myself. We'll actually get a proper phone. Nothing like the latest iPhone, $1,500 phone or whatever. So okay, I'll get a nice phone. A week ago, I'm sitting at the bus stop, and I'm not paying attention. I got my phone on the bench beside me, and I get on the bus. The bus shows up out of nowhere. Okay, fuck, I gotta run. But then by the time I notice my phone's not in my pocket, I'm already at the next stop. So I'm like, oh fuck! I get off the bus, and I'm racing back to the stop. And of course, a couple hobos there at the bench. I'm like, you seen my phone? No. It doesn't take long in this city to lose your phone like that if you just leave it on the bench. And yeah, of course, all those other crummy phones. Like I'm opening my desk now. There's like 4 or 5 of them in there. The stupid $150 ones, and one I spent $800 on is gone in a couple months. So yeah, we might actually get interrupted during the show because I'm waiting on the replacement.
Okay, nice.
Amazon. So that could still happen, but yeah.
Did you order another good one, or did you have like a warranty on it?
No warranty, no nothing. I just ordered the same freaking phone. This is the last one I got because like I said, I'm not getting blackout drunk. I'm just a fucking idiot, even when I'm sober. Just leaving my phone on the bench. But yeah, it serves me right. But it at least validates my original logic, which was just to buy cheap phones because I'm so absent-minded and drunk and all that. But yeah, why couldn't it be one of these dumb phones? Like, why does it have to be this? I don't lose those phones when I'm sober normally. Like,
if it was a cheap phone, you probably would have ran back there. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, here it goes. This fucking phone. This phone sucks. Here you go. No pawn shop wants this."
No, they would have taken it anyway. Trust me, they would have taken like a pen if you left it on a bench.
It's been kind of chilly here too, and in the 70s and down in the low 60s, high 50s at night. So a little bit chillier. I know it's supposed to get hotter as the next week or so, but yeah, it's football weather, it's hockey weather. It's good to be back here. Been kind of went to Atlantic City last week, so it was off last week, but yeah, had a good recording before that, and since then there's been quite some hockey news, so we'll get into that here. But at the top of the show, make sure you are subscribed to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on your preferred podcast platform. If that's on Apple or Spotify, please do leave us a 5-star rating and review. That goes a long way. Also follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. And if you'd like to get involved with the show, social, guest, anything, you can hit us up via DM there at HockeySGPN, or just hit up myself on Twitter at RGilbertSOP. The Discord is still kicking here in August. So you can hit us up there as well. But it was a big week kind of in the hockey world, especially up there in Canada. I kind of want to get your take on what you were hearing from the Canadian media with the Oilers losing both Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg to offer sheets to St. Louis. Holloway, 2 years, $2.29 million, got a second round pick Philip Broberg, 2 years, $4.5 million, a third-round pick. Both overpays, I felt like, in terms of the contract. But St. Louis has really nothing to lose right now. They're kind of in limbo. So why not? Kind of stick at the Stan Bowman a little bit.
Right. Yeah, it's been a fun week here in Vancouver because, there's a little circle of love between Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver in terms of our rivalries. Like, most of the hockey world's not really caring about this deal, but I listen to the Vancouver podcast and they're salivating over the Blues just taking down the Oilers, the cash-strapped Oilers. They're so tight to the cap they can't really afford to give these guys those same kind of deals that the Blues gave. Eventually the Canucks themselves got involved with the Oilers giving up 4th round pick for Vasily Podkolzin, 10th overall pick a few years ago. It was looks to be a bust, so the Canucks shipped him out, and that was their replacement for Dylan Holloway, I guess you could say. And then they dealt another pick to the Sharks and Cody Ceci to get off some cap as well. And got another defenseman. I can't remember the name at the moment, but another depth defenseman, presumably as a replacement for Philip Broberg. Either way, I think that the Oilers are worse now because of it. Philip Broberg, he was a depth player again last year. They had big hopes for him. He was a high draft pick as well, and he played well in the playoffs, like coming in for Vincent Desjardins, who is now a Canuck, another little bit of a incest there. And Broberg, they had high hopes for him, but he did not really live up to them so far anyway, that the Blues might see more potential in him. But he did show some flashes there, especially in the Cup finals. Broberg was actually probably the 3rd best defenseman after Bouchard and Ekholm. So there is definitely going to be a loss there for the Oilers, especially when they don't have much behind Bouchard and Ekholm. Like they're second deep. They lost Ceci too. I know he's not a great player, but he's still better than what they got now. So after that, it's just Nurse and just absolutely nobody. So the Oilers are going to be really up against it on their back end. So yeah, this is tough for the Oilers side of it. But that's what happens when you don't sign your RFAs. You're gonna get fucked by GMs like Doug Armstrong, who has explicitly said that the offer sheet should be attacked more often. He said that even this year during the draft, and he followed up on his word with the two timer. I'm not even sure if that's happened before, 2 at once against the same team. So yeah, credit to the Blues for doing that. They got better on their back end, which is a desperate need for them. I mean, Torrey Krug looks like he's going to be out for most of, if not the whole season. So the Blues, yeah, their back end is really up against it, and Broberg will help with that. But mainly, it's just about the Oilers, and the Oilers are. We can talk about the Oilers another time, but it's just not good shakes there in Edmonton right now.
Yeah, you love to see offer sheets happen, especially 2-1 team. This was kind of a perfect storm for the Blues. Like I said, not much to lose. They had the cap space, and the Oilers. Yeah, you said it. They didn't sign their RFAs. They went out, re-signed Adam Henrique, signed the oft injured Victor Arvidsson, Jeff Skinner. All good deals, I think. But I'd rather have Holloway at whatever $2 million if they were to match that. I think that's a bit of an overpay. But got Podkolzin, kind of a fellow, maybe change of scenery type guy, but Holloway could have been that next Fogle for him. I know he had the speed to keep up with McDavid for some of the playoff games there. Broberg, definite overpay, but yeah, they're back end now. After Nurse, they have Brett Kulak, Josh Brown, Ty Emberson was the guy from San Jose, and then Troy Stetcher. So not a lot of good stuff there. They have a great top 5 man unit, as we saw throughout the playoffs, but if Arvidsson can't stay healthy, like, they don't have much depth there. Corey Perry, he's kind of on his last legs. The worm up there in Edmonton. And yeah, Armstrong.
Do you know the youngest forward for the Oilers right now, off the top of your head?
Is it Connor McDavid?
It's Connor McDavid.
Isn't there some stat where like Stanley Cup winners don't have so many players over like the age of like 32 or 33? Like I thought the Stars would be like an outlier last year with Pavelski, Ben, and Sagan.
That's a good point. I'll have to look into it and maybe add to my cup categories the age of the teams that win it. But yeah, go ahead. You're about to talk about the Doug Armstrong.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Armstrong. I mean, he's already got his replacement lined up. Steen is taking over what 2025, 2026. So I mean, he has no reason to play buddy buddy with his GMs. I know he kind of did anyway after the offer sheets were they didn't match him. Like he traded him like a third round pick or something just to stay in the GM group chat probably. But yeah, Armstrong's on his way out. Bowman's getting fucked already by Edmonton there, and put in a bad situation. So yeah, Edmonton's. I know they're one of the big favorites next year to make the playoffs, win the cup, even win the division and all that. But I don't know if they suffer one injury or their depth just isn't there, or Stuart Skinner isn't what we saw in the playoffs. They could be down pretty bad.
For sure. Like I said, we could talk about the Oilers another time in terms of their projection this year. But going back to Doug Armstrong. Yeah, the reason why these offer sheets aren't utilized so often is because these GMs want to cultivate relationships. They don't want to piss other GMs off. So that's, like you said, Doug Armstrong, he's going out soon, so he doesn't have a lot to lose in that respect. So why not just go out against the Oilers? Because sometimes if you do this to a team and it doesn't really work out, they could come back at you. And so the Oilers will be going back at the Blues. Not that they can do much about it right now, but if in the future the Blues have one of those RFAs that are lingering around, then the Oilers will be just doing it out of spite, just like the Hurricanes did against the Canadiens a few years ago. So that's why.
And now Kotkaniemi is like a bad salary cap for them, bad cap hit.
Yeah. So people are saying like these things should be utilized more often, but I don't know. I think that there's just a lot. It can definitely backfire. Is my point. Like if you piss off the wrong GM, it can definitely just hurt both teams in the end. So that's why this stuff doesn't happen so often. But it is definitely entertaining. Like in the middle of fucking August when there's nothing else going on in the hockey world, it's definitely makes things more interesting, especially going forward, looking at the how these teams look next season.
Yeah, so that's the offer sheets there. Blues kind of pretty much the same. Some improvement definitely on the back end, like you said. Oilers not so great. Another trade that happened. Before that, make sure we shout out Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy Pick'em gives you a chance to win 1,000 times your entry or play fantasy football the right way with Best Ball. Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million in prizes. So sign up with promo code HGP to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code HGP. And make sure you check out Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Imagine the regret you'll feel if you win your Office Survivor pool, didn't enter the Circa Survivor, don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet before football. The ultimate contest weekend is coming up. It's Thursday, the 22nd through the 24th this week. Use promo code SGP15 to save 15% on your hotel room for sign-up weekend. Sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere. You can use promo code SGP at proxy.footballcontest.com to save you $50 and get a free hat. All right, there might be some hats thrown on the ice, or more hats thrown on the ice now in Montreal after they were acquired Patrick Laine and a second-round pick in 2026 for Jordan Harris. They took on all of Laine's, I believe, $8 million cap hit to do so. I know you've already been kind of high on the Canadians. This probably only helped their stock, right?
Professional segue there, by the way. That was nicely done. Yes, definitely high on the Habs. And this definitely helps. Like we were kind of concerned. We didn't really see a lot of action into the offseason from the Canadiens. Not a lot of activity. Although the big boon is getting Kirby Dach back. Hopefully he can finally stay healthy. He was very good playing second line center for them. And if he's healthy, then the Habs are going to be very competitive in the Atlantic Division. And especially with Patrick Laine now getting some goal scoring. They have the cap space to spare, even after they're still paying Brendan Gallagher $6.5 million, which expires in 3 years, and Laine expires in 2 years. So they got these guys that are running out right when the Canadians are going to be really contending. I think in 3 or 4 years, that's their window is when it's going to be really opening. So it makes sense in that respect. They're going to be a competitive team this year. They just need to keep building. They're getting better year over year, and this definitely helps with that. Getting some more goal scoring, a little bit more skill going forward too. And they're loaded on the back end. So just getting a little bit more talent up front will be awesome. Patrick Laine has been it's another added element to the Leafs Habs rivalry, because Laine, of course, when he was with the Jets, there was a big thing going on between him and Austin Matthews, who was the better draft pick. Obviously, it's Matthews now, but the Laine always performed well against the Leafs there, so I expect him to elevate his game against the Leafs here in Montreal, especially with the fans supporting him in that respect. So yeah, I love the addition for the Habs. They did need to get a little bit more skilled up front. So yeah, this is what I'm waiting for, and we're already seeing a little bit more movement towards the Habs over and in the points total market. And yeah, so hopefully it bears fruit and he plays well. And of course, he was coming off that the mental health break or whatever he was doing there, and he seems to be going well now based on his interviews since he got out of that rehab. And yeah, hopefully he gets off the Xbox. I think that was a thing of the past, but hopefully he's focused, recommitted to the game, because he did not do well in Columbus. Yeah, speaking of Columbus, though, on the Columbus side, like this is the bad break for them. I mean, not even a bad break. It was a terrible decision to trade off Oliver Bjorkstrand to the Kraken, who was a very good player, for basically nothing in order to retain Patrick Laine a couple of years ago, because Patrick Laine was being paid so much money they couldn't afford to keep both. They traded the better player to Seattle, and now they're paying the price. Now they have to pay a second to offload Patrick Laine. So just terrible job by the Blue Jackets organization, which is why they are where they are, with a measly point total of 69.5 still. And yeah, so they got rid of the salary, so kudos to them for that, but they got to offload another second round pick for it. So it's going to be another few years before the Blue Jackets are relevant again, if they ever were.
Yeah, I mean, Blue Jackets just continue to be a mess. I mean, good. They didn't have to retain on anything, but they gave up a second round pick and got back like a third pair defenseman for them. So, I mean, I'll be looking at them maybe for worst record. I don't know if that's out there yet. I saw it somewhere. I'm trying to find it. Oh, here we go. Least points. Sharks plus 180, Blue Jackets plus 360 are the bottom two there. So, don't hate that there. That I mean, they don't got much that I like.
I like that. I like that a lot. Sharks, yeah, we could talk about them in the future. I mean, I don't think they exceed their point total, but they're not going to be as bad as they were last year. So plus 180, that's far too short, I think. So looking into that market, I haven't even looked at that one yet. So yeah, the Blue Jackets are definitely a contender for that, the way their roster is constructed right now.
Yeah, I found that on DraftKings as the only one to have that out right now, or at least FanDuel doesn't have it, and they typically do. But yeah, this is huge for the Habs. So I thought, maybe a contending team, maybe Carolina, maybe Washington would pick up Patrick Laine here for nothing, just take on the cap hit. But going to Montreal, definitely going to elevate the Canadians in the standings there. I don't know who's going to be the worst team in that division. I mean, Detroit, Buffalo, Ottawa, and Montreal all kind of have an argument to be made for them. Detroit's a bit above them, and the other two are always kind of looking better going into the season. But I mean, the Habs, we'll get into it. We're going to get into our futures, but they're looking good. Yeah, you said their line already moved. Slavkovsky, Caulfield, Laine joins them, Doc and Suzuki. Like, they have a good top six. Great defense. Lane Hudson should be playing there again this year. Just comes down to Montembeault and Primo in net, really. If it's going to be Montembeault or Montembeault, and that's really what it's going to come down to in Montreal.
When I say great defense, I mean, like, going forward, like, their prospect pipeline is very solid. So they have a lot of young studs that haven't really.
Yeah. They have Gooley. Gooley's going to be top pair. Matheson's a solid veteran alongside him. Hudson, Savard, second pair. Jack Guy, everyone's afraid of him, so
yeah,
it's decent.
It's definitely improving rapidly. Let's just put it that way. And David Reinbacher, too, the 5th overall pick last year, should be making strides. Maybe come in towards the end of the season. We'll see how he's playing wherever he's playing in the AHL. Presumably, I don't know.
Yeah. Any other news you want to hit on? I just want to kind of segue that into our teams we're high on here. I
Yeah,
do want to touch. I want to touch on the Askarov stuff, but I imagine we're going to discuss the Predators anyway.
sure. Yeah, we can touch on it when we talk about the Preds.
All right, then we're going to discuss some teams we are high on, teams we're buying, if you want to call it that, for the team futures this year. I guess we'll just start with the Atlantic here with the Canadians. Well, what else have you seen from them this offseason to make you so high on them?
Not really the offseason so much as just these players continue to improve. The young guys, big believer in Nick Suzuki as the kind of like Nico Hischier type two-way center. Gets things done. He played better last year as well. Of course, Cole Caulfield continues to put the puck in the net. They have a great dynamic between them. Remember last year they were they were in a bar in Europe or something, like just discussing what we're going to do this year kind of thing. So I like to see that, just like on their off days, just planning for the future, planning to get better for the team. I love to see that. And yeah, just the rest of the team is very talented. I love the coach, Martin St. Louis, gets the best out of these young guys. They just get better year over year. They're just solidly building. And it all starts with the front office. You know, Mark Bergevin, like he was, I don't know, like a fucking drunk, basically, just like throwing shit at the wall and hoping it works. And now that they actually have some competent guys in the front office, they're bearing fruit already, and I think they're planning long term. Slowly does it, easy does it, and even this year, I think it'll bear fruit. So I do think that they'll be an 80-point team at least, and maybe even flirting with the playoffs. So yeah, they over 75.5, over 76.5 point totals for the Canadians. Big long shot of them to make the playoffs, 8-1 or so. I like that quite a bit, and of course, Martin St. Louis for the Jack Adams, because if they do make the playoffs, there's a very good chance that he'll win, and he's around 30-1 or so in that regard. So really big on this team. I love the players, so the coach, and goaltending just has to be average, and I think that they'll be a buy-on team for sure going into the season, during the season, and anything else.
Yeah, I agree with you there on the Habs. St. Louis for Jack Adams, probably the best bet at 35-1 at both DraftKings and Caesars. 30-1 at FanDuel, still pretty good there. Yeah, 8-1 to make the playoffs. That's coming down some places. I see it as low as 550 at Bet365, 6-1 at MGM. So don't hate that. You could see them going on a decent run, depending on their goaltending. You know, if they stay healthy, I could see that happening. As you have pointed out previously in the group chat, though, if you can find them to get at least 90 points, I found them that at 7-1. I think it was also at FanDuel or Bet365. Not sure if higher is available out there, but you know they could get 90 points, likely to make the playoffs anyway. But you know, just getting plus 700 instead of plus 800 in case they get 91 and miss like the Red Wings did last year. But yeah, Canadians up and coming team. I think they'll definitely be better than at least two of Detroit, Buffalo, and Ottawa this coming year.
Yeah, and one of these teams got to drop off eventually, right? You keep thinking that, you know, it's hard to say which one, but the Panthers, the Leafs, the Bruins, the Lightning. I don't think it'll be the Bruins, as we'll get into next. But yeah, I mean, one of these teams, you just keep waiting for one of these other teams to break through, and they just keep banging their head against the wall, their own wall, really, like keep getting in their own way, and they just can't make any progress and make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'll throw out the Lightning as a potential team to buy here. They're only minus 220 to make the playoffs, which seems kind of low. Gensel replaces Stamkos there. Have a full season of Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky had a real down year last year. I think it was like 900 save percentage. His lowest before that was 910 his second year. Besides that was 915. So hopefully he can get back to his normal self. And if so, they should definitely make the playoffs. Not necessarily going to take them to win the division here at only plus 550, but use them as a parlay piece. They've missed the playoff just once since 2013. That was in 2017. Also, maybe look for them to get 100 points at plus 120 at Bet365. You got 98 points last year. Healthy Vasi should hopefully be able to get up there. But, they're, like you said, they're one of these teams that might eventually fall off. We're just waiting for it. But as long as Cooper and Vasi are there, I don't know how it's going to happen.
They got a bit older too, trading Sergachev to the Utah Hockey Club, whatever we're calling them.
Coyotes, Utah Yotes.
Yeah, okay. We'll stick with the Coyotes then. The Utah Coyotes. and bringing back Ryan McDonough, who was very good with the Predators last year, and now the Lightning got him back. So yeah, they did get a little bit older, but it's hard to make anything of the Lightning. I don't have bets on them or against them this season, so I'm just staying away for now. I didn't have any bets on them or against them last season until it was announced that Vasilevsky was going to be missing the first couple months of the season, and thankfully we just narrowly won our point total under by like a point or two at the end of the year because Vasilevsky just played every fucking game after he got reinstated. So yeah, Lightning this year, just staying away on them, but I could definitely see them even winning the division because they do have that talent. If that power play is clicking again, Kucherov is rolling at MVP level like he was last year, or they could just miss and fall off. Like Hedman, he's pretty old now. Vasilevsky, like you said, not a great year last year. He's been banged up and all that. Defense still leaves a lot to be desired. We'll see what happens with McDonough versus Sergachev, what kind of drop off that is. So yeah, Lightning are just I'm out on them right now. Just staying away.
Yeah, I don't love that their penciled in second line right winger is Cam Atkinson either. I mean, I'm sure he can put up maybe 20 goals playing a very offensive role, but I don't know. Maybe he goes to a competitor and has a rejuvenation, but not a great second line.
Another old Blue Jacket.
Yeah. All right, and you are once again high on the bees here. Your Boston Bruins seem to be your adopted Atlantic team.
Yeah, I just don't understand the disrespect the market pays them. I mean, 5-1 to win the division. They had the division won last year. They just didn't want to play the Lightning. They wanted to play the Leafs, so they gave up the last two games. They would have won the division last year. Now they're 5-1. I think they're better this year. Sure, they don't have Jake DeBrusk, but they got better on the back end with bringing in Nikita Zadorov and of course Elias Lindholm. So we could finally drop the whole narrative if they don't have a center because they're bringing in one of the best two-way guys in the league and still 5-1 to win the division. The Bruins definitely big fan of that. I've got them parlayed to make the playoffs at only like minus 210 at a bunch of places, and I just don't see them dropping off. Like they're still an elite team. I mean, Marchand, he's old, but he's still productive, and he doesn't even have to be elite Marchand anymore. He's got other guys coming in, the great wingers. Pastrnak keeps doing what he's doing. Yeah, just I don't understand. There shouldn't be this big of a gap between them and the Panthers, especially after the Panthers have been to 2 Stanley Cup playoff finals, and they got to be a little bit worn down and not exactly motivated to go all out this year. And yeah, so I think that the Bruins are the play here. Maple Leafs, again, kind of like the Lightning. I don't know what to make them right now. New coach, could be new dynamic in there. Same old team for the most part. Goaltending, a bit of a question mark, I guess. If Joseph Woll is healthy and plays the whole year, then I could see the Leafs winning the division. But at the price, I think the Bruins are the best bet in the Atlantic.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Bruins at 5-1. Yeah, I see minus 192 to make the playoffs. That's insane. That's at FanDuel. 210 Bet365 is the second best. The worst is minus 240 at DraftKings. So almost 50 cents of a difference there. Yeah, the question mark for me would be in net. Swayman has only typically played around 40 games a year. Korpisalo had a solid stint with the Kings during his 11 games there, but besides that has been not a great goalie. So I think that's a definite step down from Allmark to Korpisalo, but yeah, get Lindholm in there, Zadorov, Matthew Petrov has another year under his belt. So yeah, 5-1 for them, just barely better than the Lightning. Like, yeah, I completely forgot they had it locked up, and then they just didn't. They lost for the playoff matchup.
Yeah, let's beat the Leafs again.
Yeah, so yeah, Bruins minus 192 for the playoffs as a parlay piece. Division here at 5-1. I like that too.
I should say also that I think they have the best, at least top 3 best defense in the league with McAvoy, Lindholm, Zadorov now, and the new guy Mason Lohrei, whatever you say.
Yeah, he was good. He was good in the playoffs. He was good down the stretch.
Yeah. So they're loaded on the defensive side, and I like to back the back end.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go over to the Metro division here. Another tough division. You got the Hurricanes, you got the Rangers, you got the Islanders, always tough. Capitals, never know. Penguins still going for it. Devils should be right back in it. My Flyers are right there. And then you got the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets are not going to be in contention. What teams are you looking at here in the Metro?
Well, could you pull up the team points for the New York Islanders by chance? I mean, they've been fluctuating lately. Some books offered an 88.5. If that's still available.
There's to make playoffs. They're plus 115.
Okay.
To make 125 to miss. I'm not finding point total on this site. Let me do a quick check at FanDuel.
I don't mind that. The plus 115 to make the playoffs. It's more or less the equivalent of over 88.5. I think DraftKings had the 88.5 to for their point total. And the main point of this is like they were a far better team than the Washington Capitals last year. And the Capitals have, if not the same, then maybe even a lower or a higher point total than the Islanders. And that doesn't make any sense to me. We'll get into the teams I'm fading on the next show, but spoiler is the Capitals will be included. So yeah, the Islanders, 7th seed last year, despite Sorokin having his like the worst season that he's had, really, at least as a starter. And Patrick Roy now having a full season behind the bench, clear upgrade over well, what's his name? I don't remember the name of the coach that was fired mid-season last year, but Patrick Roy definitely improved the team. No, it wasn't Brad Larson.
Lambert?
Lane Lambert, who took over for
Lambert. Yeah, okay.
Barry Trotz.
Yes.
So Patrick Roy behind the bench now, at least Sorokin an offseason to adjust, to get his game back. And of course, they still have Semyon Varlamov, who played at a starter level last year. So until he falls off, I'm not going to believe that he's done. So yeah, the Islanders with that goaltending, just a solid, strong team. I don't think they're winning the cup or anything, but I definitely think that they're going to be one of those like 7th, 8th seeds again, like they are every year these days. And yeah, I just like they're they're a very old team, much like the Oilers now these days. But I like them more than the Penguins. I like them more than the Capitals. So I 7, 8 seed. Over 88.5 or 89.5 points, make the playoffs plus money.
I'm seeing 88.5 at minus 120 at MGM. FanDuel and DraftKings were both over 90.5 and 91.
All right, so it's being bet up. So if you could find that straight 88.5, that's a good bet. Or plus 115 to make the playoffs isn't bad either, because I do think that they squeak in there in one of those wild card spots.
Yeah, the Islanders, they just never go away. I can't buy into them. I can't fade them. They're just going to be there. And like teams are going to get better around them. Teams are going to get worse around them. They're going to put up 85 to 95 points in that range, I feel like. And it comes down to how many loser points they get. Probably 16 last year.
Oh, yeah, they do like to go to the overtime.
Yeah, exactly. They like to rack up those points. Yeah, Sorokin 908 last year to bring his career save percentage down to 919. Varley is still a good backup there. So, yeah, can't fade them. Not going to back them. I know you got one more team here. Let me just try to sell you guys on the Flyers real quick. They are plus 200 to make the playoffs. Over 85.5 points is minus 115. 90 points is plus 125. They had 87 points last year. Now that you have Matt Michkov pretty much replacing Cam Atkinson, you're getting a full year of Jamie Drysdale on defense, kind of replacing the Sean Walker that they traded away at the deadline. Year of growth for guys like Tyson Forster, Bobby Brink, Cam York, Sam Ersson in net. I just think if they get league average power play, which hopefully they should be able to with Michkov there now, or if goaltending isn't just a complete shit fest, they're going to be in the mix. So I think 2-1 to make the playoffs. Minus 115 to get 86 points to match what they did last year. You know, John Tortorella is going to squeeze every point he can out of his team, no matter what. So that's my selling point for the Flyers. But I do also agree with buying on the other team you're talking about.
Yeah, Flyers. I don't have much of an opinion on them. I think last year was the year to cash in big on them at big numbers to make the playoffs and all that. Fortunately, they tailed off at the end of the season. But yeah, Michkov is the big wild card, the Maverick. We'll see how he adds to this team. They were really impressive last year. A lot of that has to do with the coaching and some of the young guys stepping up. You mentioned, and now Travis Konecny, he's like a superstar in the league now. So He is. He's very good.
Is
I was impressed.
I thought you were kind of mocking his contract.
No. I mean,
His
what
contract was
being paid?
very polarizing in Philadelphia. I think it's like 7.7, maybe 8. I don't remember exactly. And Puckpedia is failing 8.75.
Okay,
It's a bit much.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah,
it's not a bargain by any means, but it's not an overpay.
No, yeah, I wasn't being sarcastic at all.
Right.
No, I like the Flyers somewhat. I just think last year was the year for them to really take off. Like, I'm not interested in Tortorella for Jack Adams anymore. I'm not interested in making the playoffs, but I'm not interested in fading them either. So kind of like the Lightning, just staying away.
Yeah, that 2-1 price to make the playoffs is an outlier. You got plus 165, plus 170 elsewhere. 2-1s at DraftKings. So the market, I think the market respects them a bit too much. Fans aren't expecting them to make the playoffs. Like, people that don't pay attention to betting, but like plus 165 to make is not far-fetched at all.
Hmm.
All right, you got the you want to go on to the Flyers' fiercest rivals here?
Yes, the legendary New Jersey Philly rivalry with the New Jersey Devils, who are still priced at plus 240, the best odds we're seeing on this odds board here, and I don't think that's correct. I mean, they are the most talented team in the division, I think, especially after the Hurricanes lost their second line defensive core, and they've proven that they are weak in terms of goal scoring and all that. It's another slow start last year, but mainly the Devils, I think that they are you get a better price here just because they're so bad and so injured last year. You get again at plus 240 here. I think that's a good bet because it's going to be them versus the Rangers. I think the Hurricanes are going to be in that third seed as the odds here show. Plus 240, plus 260, plus 280. I think that's more or less how it figures out in the end. The Hurricanes dealing with massive roster turnover. The Rangers just benefiting from a lot of fluky shit last year under a first-year head coach from Peter Laviolette. Now the Devils get a first-year head coach and Sheldon Keefe, who should fire these guys up. And, of course, biggest reason, Jacob Markstrom. He would have won the Vezina, I think, on winning teams last year. He was that good. Unfortunately, he played behind the pitiful Flames defense, so he never had a chance to actually win it. But now he gets to play behind the pitiful Devils defense. And thankfully, the Devils can actually put the puck in the net, though. So a mix of the Devils' high-scoring, high-flying offense. We'll see what Sheldon Keefe's effect has on this team. But regardless, I think that the Devils are primed to be the best team in the East, at least in the regular season. So, yeah, this team is just absolutely loaded. The top 9, you could say, are just full of scores, elite talent up and down the lineup. The defensive core now, too. I expect Luke Hughes to take another step forward. Kind of a mildly disappointing rookie season, but another year in the system, he'll be good to go. He'll be just another Hughes brother. And, yeah, so they're loaded up and down the lineup with the new head coach. I love the Devils this year. I think that they are the play for the Metro Division. And, yeah, I would stay away from other bets for now. I mean, the over 100.5, over 101.5. The points totals will be a decent look, I guess. But plus 240, I think, to win the division is my favorite.
Yeah, and they're one of these teams I'm looking at as a parlay piece to make the playoffs. Minus 350, right there with the Rangers and Hurricanes. I think all of those are decent parlay pieces, unless you really want to fade those teams. Maybe Carolina. Not much to add for the Devils. Yeah, I didn't realize they still.
One note on that. Just don't parlay in the same division. If you're going to parlay teams to make the playoffs, at least make them on opposite conferences. That's my recommendation. Because if you're betting one to make the playoffs, you're automatically betting against the other to make the playoffs in the same division. You know what I mean? It's like negatively correlated.
Yeah, well, and yeah, like we were talking about earlier before the show, like you can't parlay to make playoffs in most books. So like probably I'm saying like parlay with like Scotty Scheffler, some other sports, stuff like that. Because you can't parlay. You can't parlay same division. Even
I do have some Devils. Yeah, I do have some Devils make playoffs with like Lions make playoffs or Bournemouth finish in the bottom 10 in the Premier League or stupid shit like that. So you're going to hear a lot of that this season. I've got a lot of fucking futures parlays this year. You get to hear about, you listeners.
The only thing I have to add for the Devils is I didn't realize they still have Jake Allen as their backup. I know he hasn't been great in the past few years, but I think part of that's being in Montreal, and part of that's being the number one guy. So I feel like if he can just be the number two, start 20, 30 games, he might be decent.
I want to say he was the best goalie for the Devils last year because when he
Oh,
came in
for the Devils, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So even Jake Allen can improve it. Imagine what Jakob Markstrom can do.
Yeah. I mean, no, Capo Kakinen in his 6 games had a 923 save percentage, but then Allen 900 in 12 games, Schmid 15 starts, 895, and then just down from there. So do you have anything on the Devils for the President's Trophy at 12-1?
Yeah, I do have that bet. I neglected that. That would be a lot better bet for me than Sheldon Keefe to win the Jack Adams, which I saw is as low as plus 650 now, which is insane. Been going over this last, like, every show I've been saying, like, his odds to win the Jack Adams is incorrect. I think he would have to win the Presidents to win the award. Not have to, but they're a very strong correlation. Like the Devils have to win like 120 points to get him the Adams to exceed that 100.5 point projection.
Yeah. All right. Before we move over to the West here, going to go shout out our friends at Rhythm. Football season is here, and the college football and NFL models are now live on Rhythm. Create your own winning betting model or let Rhythm do the heavy lifting for you. You decide what stats matter most to you, and Rhythm builds a custom model around that, or just let Rhythm and its predictive model do the heavy lifting. Rhythm already has you covered for NFL Week 1 and college football Week 0 this weekend. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And make sure you check out Game Time. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and more. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Of course, get those last-minute tickets with the flash deals, zone deals. You get the views from all the seats in the venue. So make sure you check out Game Time. Use promo code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SGPN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, Joel, you have any thoughts on going to the Pacific or the Central next?
Sure, we can start with the mighty Pacific.
All right.
Now, place close to home here with the Vancouver Canucks. A little bit of disturbing news coming out from Rick Dollywall, local insider here, about Thatcher Demko potentially not being ready for training camp, which is kind of strange considering he was almost ready to go for Game 7 against the Oilers. So the thought is that he had surgery in the offseason. The Canucks organization are being very quiet about that. They're not saying yes or no to the question of whether he did have surgery or not. So that's puts a bit of a damper on things because right now the goaltenders, at least last year, they had Casey DeSmith, who was a proven backup, a veteran goalkeeper. Now they just have Artur Silovs, who was very good in the playoffs, but very small sample size and was not great in the AHL last year either with the Abbotsford Canucks, and Yuri Patera coming over from the Golden Knights. They lost one of their 4 or 5 goalies that they had in their system. So yeah, the Patera and Silovs are not quite Casey DeSmith. So if Demko misses time, this puts a damper on things, but I still think that a 5-1 to win the division is a good bet. I know the Oilers should be favorites. They are likelier to win the division than the Canucks, but at price, I like the Canucks a lot better. Golden Knights, I think, should be switched with the Canucks. Canucks should be more like 250, 3-1. Golden Knights 5-6-1, and the Oilers maybe 2-1. Because I don't think that there's not much of a gap between the teams. I mean, the Canucks won the division last year, and the Oilers, I don't think they're significantly better. They got Jeff Skinner, they got Victor Arvidsson, a lot more scoring, but they still haven't addressed their massive need, which is their defense. And in fact, they got worse. I think losing Desharnais and Philip Robert, nothing really replacing them. And Matthias Alcom, another year on the tires, another year on the wheels. He's getting older and slower. So, yeah, the Oilers, they're going to be good this year, no doubt. They got the highest point total in the market by far. and I still lean under, by the way, on that, on her an 8.5. But the way I choose to fade them here is just betting the Canucks to win the division. Just a tough team against them. Going to be very close, fight to the end at 5-1. I think that's a good bet. And yeah, I lean over with the points totals too. Yeah, you mentioned the to get 90 points versus the point total for the Canadians or make playoffs bets. The same kind of thing with the Canucks. Like you find Canucks to get 100 points is plus 110, but the Canucks to go over 99.5 is minus 105 or something. Like that cheap 15-cent discount on your bet. So just be on the lookout for that kind of thing. But generally speaking, I think the Canucks are a good play, especially for the Cup. Like I think this team are well constructed to win the Cup. So that's the way I've played them. But regular season, absolutely, I love them to win the division here at 5-1.
Yeah, if Demko stays healthy, I mean, they're definitely in play for the Cup. I see 12-1 to win the West. What we got for the Cup? We have 23-1 to win the Cup. So yeah, just take to win the West there. It's and then you have
shorter than last time.
with,
Remember last time we talked, they were still 25-1. So finally, it's coming down.
Yeah, I like them again this year. Minus 235 to make the playoffs on FanDuel seems really low. They're minus 320 on DraftKings, so almost $1 in difference there. Win the division, like you said, 5-1. 100 points plus 120, 110 points plus 420 is think worth a look. They had 109 last year. President's Trophy is 27-1 at Canby Books as opposed to 18-1 at DraftKings, so that could be worth looking at. Especially because the Pacific just has a few too many wild card teams for me. Like I feel like the Oilers could disappoint. The Kings, I'm still not sure what to make of. Vegas is a complete wild card team. They could go bonkers. They could, have another kind of mid-season. So, and I kind of like the Kraken. Dan Bilesma coming up from the AHL, going to have Shane Wright with him. He took their AHL team to back-to-back Calder Cup finals. I think they may have won one of them. Added Stevenson as a win now move. Added Brandon Montour, Maher on the back end as well. Plus 170 to make the playoffs might be a bit low given the rest of the division. You can find 90 plus points at plus 150 or 100 plus points at plus 410. They did reach that the year before. Dan Bilesma was a great coach. I could see him winning the Jack Adams as well if they make the playoffs. So watch out for the Kraken here.
Yeah, don't have any thoughts on the Kraken right now. I think they could be in that 83, 85 point range again. But the new coach in there could shake things up. Things change, but I don't think that they have the skill level necessarily to threaten for the division. But I definitely could see them sneak into a wild card spot potentially. But let me tell you about another team called the Calgary Flames at 40. I'm just sucking with you. I'm not on the Flames this year.
Not again. Not again.
No. Never. Not after the past 2 years. In fact, we might even bring them up on the next show when you talk about our fades.
You're not high on the Ducks again? Not high enough to bring up here?
No. I mean, crazy price, 150-1. I put like $10 on that, just in case things finally click and things happen. But not a big bet at all.
Even over under 70.5 points.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. Greg Cronin, 50-1 to win the Jack Adams is the only thing that I would recommend. Maybe like that's a lot better bet than them to make the playoffs.
Yeah, fair enough there. All right, we'll move over to the Central now, unless you have anything else for the Pacific.
Not positive.
Not positive. Our negative show is next time, so we'll get into all the teams we're fading then. All right, let's go over to the Central Division, and then we'll start it off with the Predators talk. Earlier this week, Askarov, their top goalie prospect, was reported he demanded a trade. He won't report to the AHL. Of course, they just locked up UC Saros for 7-8 years. They signed Scott Wedgwood to be the backup for 2 years. So Askarov's not going to get any playing time there. So what do you make of that situation? Do you think they might end up trading him for some roster help right now?
I hope so, because I got a lot invested on these Preds this season. So that would definitely be a help. And they seem to be all in based on the players they signed, a bunch of older guys with Brady Shea, and that's the guy who went to the Preds, right? I always get him and Brett Pesce mixed up.
Yes, yeah.
Brady Shea, and Stamkos, of course, Jonathan Marshall. So the older vets that this team are in all of a sudden win now mode with Barry Trust coming over, just capitalizing on Philip Forsberg's prime, UC Saros' prime, Roman Yossi, the end of his prime. So they figure we might as well capitalize on these guys' best years. So, yeah, Predators, I think, are primed for a great season here. And, yeah, the Askarov thing is a little bit concerning. You don't want to hear too much negativity around a market that you're backing, but still, you already knew the writing was on the wall when they signed Saros to a 7-year deal. It's like, Askarov, you're not getting close to touching the starter position for the next few years. So that's why he's like, I'm out. Plus, they signed a backup too, I think. So it wasn't even looking...
Wedgwood. They signed Wedgwood.
Yeah.
Wedgwood too.
Yeah, so looking like he wasn't going to get much playing time. Hence his trade request, because he feels that he's ready, and he probably is, because he is an elite goalie talent. But besides that, I don't think that that's a big issue for this team this year. Hopefully they do get some immediate help. That'd be a boon, but that'd just be a bonus, really, because I think this team is good enough to win right now. And the current odds get a little short, plus 470 though, for the division, kind of high on the Stars too. Just fading the Avs and the Jets. I think the Stars or the Preds come out with the division here. Too many question marks going on with the Avs and the Jets. I think we'll take a step back after losing the coach, and a little bit of luck there with their crazy defensive numbers and Connor Hellebuyck, a Vezina winning season. Predators love them here. Love them to get 100 points. And yeah, I just love the coach, of course. We've been over this the past 2 years. His odds to win the Jack Adams now are second in the market most places, which is crazy to me, because his best years to win the Jack Adams the last 2 years when he didn't expect it. But now that he's expected to win, they don't win. That's how the fucking market goes. So do not bet him to win the Jack Adams. He would have to have an incredible season, and just bet the Predators to win the President's Trophy, probably in the 25-1 range still. I think that something like that is a lot better to bet than him for Jack Adams. So love the Preds. I think they can do big things. I think they're a better team than the Canucks. And the Canucks, I thought, were a great team last year in the playoffs. And the Predators almost beat them. In fact, they were the better team in at least 4 of the games. So, yeah, I think the Predators are just a total buy-on team. The market's buying them, but it's not too late to get on board. So join the Preds bandwagon before it's too late.
Yeah, love the Preds. Obviously, have a great top 6 now with Stamkos and Marchessault coming over. Luke Evangelista had a big year last year, 39 points in age 21 season. He's playing third line now. He'll continue to put up some points there. They could use some help on defense. Maybe trade Askarov for a good defenseman. Not sure what team would be a good match there, but yeah, if they can get some roster help, definitely helps a lot. 18-1 to win the President's Trophy. I feel like that might be a bit short. I don't know if their ceiling.
Like I said, the train is leaving the station. These odds are getting gobbled up on the Preds here. The closer we get to the start.
Yeah, 100 points is -105. I like that. Their point total is right around there. So if you can find anything like that. And if you have FanDuel and you want to lay -250 for the Predators to make the playoffs, please do so. They're +260 to miss at DraftKings, so you have an arbitrage opportunity if you can put down thousands on that. I'm sure you can't, but like to make it on other books, they're over $1 more. They're as high as -400. $1.50 more on ESPN Bet, $1 more on MGM compared to the -250 on FanDuel. So bet that, use that as a parlay piece with other sports. That should be a pretty safe leg, unless maybe if Saros gets hurt and they trade Askarov and they're kind of screwed there. But I think they're in pretty solid position here, especially in a central division where don't like the Wild, don't like the Blues. Utah Yotes aren't quite making it yet, and the Blackhawks are still probably 2 or 3 years away.
I kind of like the Wild. I haven't decided if I'm going to bet them over or not, but kind of like the Wild. I think that they're we'll see. We'll see about that.
They still have Math. Okay, Gustafson and Math in net. Yeah.
One more thing about the Central to shout out the chat. Parker, the under better. I can't click his thing to show on the screen, but Utah to make playoffs or over on points. I am against that. I do not think that these odds are correct. And I bet a little bit for them to miss in some parlays, but they're just getting too much credit now. Like they're expected to make some big moves. They didn't really. They had all this cap space, a new owner to buy players and all that. They only brought in Sergachev, overpaying him, I think, massively. So yeah, I'm out on Utah.
Oh, and Joel's out on Utah, and Joel is out of the podcast here apparently as well. The Mormons out there and Utah must have got to Joel, which is kind of interesting because I was trying to find another team besides the Preds to buy on in this division, and I kind of sold myself on Utah, but yeah, people might be overrating the Sergachev move a bit. All right, Joel's back.
I don't know what happened.
You were out on Utah, then you dropped. I thought like the Mormons got you.
The new owner, he sent a mission or a hit on my internet there. Yeah, what was the last thing I said?
You just say you're out on Utah, so you may have been wrapping up.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out on Utah. It's I think the odds are too crazy. Like all of a sudden they jump up to 87, 88.5 in the points total. I don't think that's right. Plus, I think this is still an improving division too, with the Blackhawks getting better a little bit. Wild, Jets, Preds, Avalanche, Stars, even the Blues, I think got slightly better. Not buying them to make the playoffs, but I do think that they are a little bit better than last year.
Yeah, as you dropped off, I was saying that like I was looking for a team besides the Preds in this division to talk about to buy, and I kind of talked myself into Utah here, but I guess people are kind of overrating the singular move of Sergachev. Like he's not going to be as good when he doesn't have Hedman on another pair. Didn't really add too much else, but just good growing core there. Barrett Hayden, Cooley, Gunther, Keller could make some noise, but yeah, plus 115 for 90 points. It's something I would look at, but probably not bad.
Look, watch out 2-3 years. This division is going to be by far the best division in hockey. I think like the Avalanche will be reaching the bottom of their prime, but they'll still be good. But after that, like these teams all have legitimate prospects coming up. Like the Wild will no longer be playing fucking Ryan Suter and Zach Parise on their deals. They'll be finally having a legitimate cap situation. The Blues will be better. They got a bunch of young guys coming up. Utah, of course, you mentioned Blackhawks, Bedard in his prime. Stars, of course, we're already seeing the tip of the iceberg there with all the guys they're bringing in. The Jets, I guess maybe they'll be a little bit worse. But other than that, I think all these teams will be better. And I think the Central's going to be a fucking wagon for years to come.
Yeah, Central's definitely going to be tough. We should discuss the news that Gabe Landeskog is apparently expected to be ready for near the start of the season, according to Coach Bednar there. Yeah,
that's a massive boost. Potentially compensates for the loss of Valery Nichushkin with his ongoing thing. Although, yeah, the Avalanche, Landeskog could have seen him back and all that. But more importantly, how about Ryan Johansson, our old friend, Ryan Johansson, the potential litigation going on between them. Do you have any insider info on what's going on there?
I don't. What it seems like is Johansson played like the night before the trade happened and then reported to the Flyers and wasn't going to go to the AHL and play. Wasn't going to play for Tortorella again, I'm sure. I'm sure that's a part of it. They didn't want to bring him in to the locker room. And now people are saying like he got married over the weekend and was shown like dancing and like lifting his wife on a chair above his head. So like he's not hurt. So like, yeah, the Flyers got to get out from that contract somehow. There'll probably be a settlement. Not sure how it's going to affect the Avs or the Flyers. It hasn't been done before. There hasn't been a player with, I guess, retained salary that's been a material breach of contract. So we'll see what happens. I do know, I think Corey Perry reached a settlement for like half of his cap hit last year. But good riddance, Ryan Johansson.
Yeah, good riddance indeed. He did nothing for us, nothing for you. Got yourself a pick though. The reason why it does apply to the Avalanche is some of the Avalanche fans are saying that this would help with the potential litigation against Valery Nichushkin if they wanted to get rid of his contract. If with all the shit that he's been doing with the drugs thing, that's maybe tenuous. I guess some hopeful ass fans out there, but that's the reason I asked. Like when they saw that, it's like, okay, maybe there's a chance to get rid of the Chushkin contract for something similar. But that's not my area of expertise. Just something I would touch on.
Yeah, I was kind of contemplating if the Avs like to fade the Avs this year, but you can't fade McKinnon, Makar, and
I bet they're over. I bet they're over 102.5. I thought that was too low. They were 105.5 last year. I don't know why that they're 3 points worse this year. And they went over last year, by the way.
Yeah, 107 points last year. So they'll be right back in it.
No doubt.
All right. Anything else here on the Central or NHL in general before we look at some Canadian football from you?
Let's talk some CFL, baby.
All right. We got 3 downs and out here.
Yeah. It's been a blast the last few weeks getting back into CFL with not much else going on. And of course, you know me, I'm going right to the awards markets right now. We got Cody Fajardo as the favorite here at minus 130 or so. And he's missed the last 3 games. He's going to come back this year. And I do think that he should be the favorite because he plays the rest of the game. He's playing for the best team in the league, the Montreal Alouettes. And he's got some great stats and all that. So, yeah, if he plays the rest of the season, he keeps performing the way he has before he was injured, fine. He's the favorite. He's going to win. But the next 2, 3, 4 favorites are all bums who are not going to win. Like Nathan Rourke just got back from being cut from 3 NFL teams and did not play well in his debut. Return to the league with the BC Lions. We got Vernon Adams, who's still hurt, as the 3rd favorite. He's not going to win. So I was looking down the board. Like last week, about Zach Collaros, 50-1.
There we go. He
beat the Lions last week, so he's down to 14-1. Okay, fine. But speaking of relevant numbers, Brady Oliveira is still 60-1. Oh, he's pulling it up. Let's go.
Got the odds up here.
All right. He is
not sure if you can read them. Oh, this guy, Brady Oliveira, 65-1.
Even better. 65-1 at DraftKings. He's leading the league right now in rushing yards. Doesn't have a lot of touchdowns. In fact, I think he only has like 1 or 2 because in the CFL, it's so many quarterback sneaks in the end zone. So the backup quarterback typically gets all the touchdowns. So I'm not sure that's
wait, what? The backup quarterback comes in for like push tushes?
Yeah.
Push pushes?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, the starter gets to take a play off, then the backup guy just gets to run in the end zone. So usually the backup guy is usually a bigger dude. Anyway, so he's stealing all the touchdowns from Brady Oliveira, but he was a finalist last year in the MVP market. I mean, Talon's guy, Chad Kelly, ran away with the award in the end, but just to be a finalist, the most outstanding player award is pretty phenomenal. And now he's 65-1 on a Blue Bars team that I think are going to win maybe at least 6 the next 8 games because they have a very easy schedule and they're playing better now. They have a 4-6 record now, but they're going to get a lot better going forward. So also Blue Bars to win the Grey Cup, the CFL Super Bowl, 5-1 or better. I think that's a great bet. We've been betting that. And yeah, we're also back in the Bombers here with their running back, Brady Oliveira, who epitomizes the nature of the team. Solid defensive team, great running game, 65-1. I love that bet. I think it should really be like Cody Fajardo, Collaros, Brady Oliveira, and I don't even honestly know who'd be the guy that mix like this. Okay, you can only bet like $50-$60 in this market. That's why it's so out of whack. But if that's all you're betting anyway, then who cares? So yeah, I think that this market is crazy. So just take a shot with these other guys. Even if you like Kadeem Carey, he was the running back maintaining the play for the Argos, 55-1. I didn't bet that, but I think that's a good bet. Yeah, like these guys are way too long. Cody Fajardo should not be minus 135 to win the award. So we're taking shots in the CFL most outstanding player market, and we're back in the Bombers to win the Grey Cup at 5-1 or better.
When does the CFL season end, and when is the most outstanding player award announced?
I don't know when the award is announced, but I know that the Grey Cup is the middle of November. It's in Vancouver, so I'll be front line and center. November 17th. No, I won't be there. I'll be within half-hour drive anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, November 17th. Most outstanding player is announced. I'm not going to do this.
I'm Googling it. There's nothing really off a quick search here.
Yeah, well, around the same time I would expect.
Yeah,
similar to NFL, but yeah, something fun to sweat if you get bored of the NFL.
I got a bit of a selfish question for you. Do you have any EPL futures that you like here?
I mean, it's kind of weird right now because Man City have this looming.
There's like this, like a point deduction or something.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't think that'll take effect. I think the Man City win the league. So anything at plus money, I think that they get it done. Arsenal they're like the Leafs of the English Premier League. They're a good team. They just keep falling short. So I don't think that Arsenal, if City get the dock like 10, 20 points, then yeah, Arsenal probably win. But I think that City don't get docked this year. I think if they do get docked, they'll appeal it to death, and it'll only take effect next year because the hearing is in a month and a half or so, and we'll see what happens then. But to win the Premier League, I think Man City are the bets. I'm kind of on all the chalky favorites right now with Bayern in the Bundesliga, Inter, Serie A. I like Newcastle to finish top 6. I mean, they won last week, so the odds are probably short a little bit. But yeah, Newcastle top 6, top 4, maybe stuff like that. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. There was some CFL and EPL talk. All right. If you're still listening along and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Make sure you subscribe to the Hockey Gimlin podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube as well. Hoping to get that YouTube count up before the start of the season. Going to be doing some NHL teams we're selling and fading soon. Going to be starting our NHL team previews before we know it too here with preseason right around the corner. So make sure you guys follow along. Follow on Twitter at HockeySGPN. Get in the Discord, get it active there, get it back going. But all right, I am Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop.
And I'm Joel Meyer. You'll find me still waiting for my new old phone to finally arrive here.
All right. Good luck there.
Fucking Amazon.
See ya.